Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 8 of season 6 of the F1 2020 My Team career mode. I'll explain obviously in the video as to why this is round 8 rather than round 7, but a massive apology. I've seemed to have had a load of issues with my Elgato over the course of the last two videos. Canada just didn't record, and as you'll see in this video, slowly the footage just deteriorates. It was such a good race though, and obviously missing out the last Grand Prix, I just wanted to upload the footage anyway for you guys. It was, yeah, an absolutely brilliant race. I have ordered a new Elgato as well. Hopefully that is going to arrive today when I'm recording this, so hopefully ready for Silverstone next time around, all these issues are sorted, and it won't be something that happens in F1 2021. Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 8 of season 6 of the F1 2020 My Team career mode. And yes, you guys are probably wondering, round 8, what on earth happened to round 7? For some reason, my Elgato just didn't record, basically from I think it was lap 8 onwards of the Grand Prix. It lagged for like half a second and then just gave up. So hopefully we're not going to see the same thing here today. I'll be honest, on track it wasn't the most exciting race in the world at the Canadian Grand Prix. We did see some quite interesting things championship-wise, though George Russell actually had a disastrous qualifying, started P20, and unfortunately meant that he scored no points there, which means championship-wise we've taken a load of points out. I think Gasly also had a tough weekend. We came through for P2 in the end. We'll have a quick look at the season results there. It was actually Hamilton that took his very first podium and race victory of the year there with the win. We came through for P2, like I said. Kvyat third, Stroll almost got a podium at his home Grand Prix there, but just couldn't quite pull it off in the end. With Verstappen 5th, Albon, and then you can see Charles Leclerc, Pierre Gasly, Sergio Perez, and Guan Yu Zhou rounding out your top 10 there. So yeah, like I said, not the most exciting on-track race in the world, but certainly did spice up the title. I'm hoping we don't get any more issues with it. I think I know what it was with my Elgato, so yeah, massive apology for that. But anyway, we do head into the French Grand Prix. At the time we're recording this, we're about 2 hours away from the real-life French Grand Prix going ahead, so I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe this is going to be the most exciting race in the world. Maybe it's going to be the worst race in the world. F1 2020, though, tends to deliver a good Grand Prix around this track, so let's get into it. Well, heading out straight into Q2 then, and it seems like the heavens have opened here at the French Grand Prix circuit. It's going to be one of those sessions, so I think we're getting a lap in really early. It's going to be absolutely critical if you want to try and get yourself into Q3, because apparently it's just going to get wetter and wetter throughout this session. So as we head around the final corner, very similar conditions to what we saw in the F3 race on Sunday. But let's just wait and see then if we can try and put the car up towards the front of the field. I think a few other guys have started their runs, but I think a lot of guys are still on their out laps. Sort of big lock-up down in towards turn 1. Just got to keep it nice and tidy because, yeah, like I said, with the track getting wetter and wetter as it is, getting your first run in on the first lap is going to be critical here. Heading down through turn 3 and turn 4. Keeping it nice and tidy so far after that early mistake. Lando Norris, first man to set a time on the board there, a 1:37.5. Let's just see what the split time is going to be as we head out of the North Chicane here. It's going to be half a second up on Lando Norris there. Charles Leclerc goes slower than Lando so far on his laps. Oh, a big wobble through the, well, normally flat out corner there. Definitely not in these conditions. Albon goes even faster. So people are putting times on the board, but we've just got to try and keep it clean and tidy through the final sector of the lap here and really try and get ourselves up. I mean, really, if we're top 10 now, we probably will remain top 10, but you never quite know what the Mercs and the Alpha Tauris are going to be able to do as we head round the final couple of corners of this lap. Let's just see through the final turn. A little bit of understeer there on the entry, a little bit of oversteer on the exit, but getting a nice traction out down towards start-finish line. It's going to be a 1:37.3, which is fastest at the moment, but are we going to stay there? So there we go then, the end of Q2, and again, George Russell 2 weeks running, not making it through into Q3 in one of these Grand Prix. Obviously, unfortunately, you guys didn't see the last one, but George Russell P13, Hamilton P14, we have got a big opportunity this weekend to potentially take the lead of the Drivers' and Constructors' World Championship with that. Kvyat fastest at the end of Q2. The two Frenchmen, though, second and third. That's a brilliant job done by Gasly and Ocon. We come through for P4. Albon, Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc, Sainz and Zhou rounding out your top 10 there. Let's see what we can get in Q3. Well, getting ready to head out then for our run in Q3. The track just getting drier and drier again at this late stage of the session. I think it's pretty much back to normal now, so I don't think we need to be too worried about being the last man on a lap. But you can see everyone else heading back through Sector 2 and Sector 3 now, as we get ready to start our final lap then here from the French Grand Prix. Can we try and put this thing on the front row again? Can we try and get it towards pole position? Only time will tell. We haven't had a particularly great qualifying record throughout most Grand Prix this year, but we'll wait and see today if we can try and get the car up towards the front. Always do love doing qualifying laps around here. Really got to be aggressive with the curbing throughout a lot of places on this track. It is quite a good fun track, I'll be honest, to sort of chuck a car around. Just a shame it doesn't provide much brilliant action in real life Formula 1. As we head out of Sector 1 though, purple through the first sector there. That's what you like to see. Charles Leclerc does a 25.2 this stage of the session. Verstappen a 24.8. How good would that be for Ferrari to get the car on the front row? We got the Alpha Towers though still to set their final laps there, as that was a lot of curb through the chicane on both entry and exit there. Not the best run through, and it is still Verstappen even, who is provisional fastest here. We don't go purple through Sector 2, but I can't imagine we're too far off. Just one more sector to go of this lap, and can we keep it all hooked up? Let's just wait and see then. Nice run on the exit of turn 11 through turn 12. Oh, again, just running a little bit wide. It's been quite a ragged lap for the most part here as we head down in towards the final couple of corners. What are we going to be able to do here as we head through the final turn? Nice tidy run through there. Now we just watch the clock as we head down towards the start-finish line here. Where is it going to be for the French Grand Prix? It's pole! There we go, a 24-7. Things... Hey? I was so gassed. Who's gone quicker?
Ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Verstappen, Leclerc and Mr. Monaco. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
I was so hyped for pole. I thought we'd done it, but no, Verstappen. I think everyone improved on their second runs there. Luckily, that lap was good enough for still P3 on the grid, but Verstappen on pole position for Ferrari there. Charles Leclerc P2. Kvyat just behind us in fourth. Head of Gasly there in at P5. I'm sure he's a bit gutted with that. Guan Yu Zhou, Esteban Ocon, Norris, Sainz and Albon round out your top 10, but 3 cars within a tenth of a second. Let's head in then here ready to the French Grand Prix.
Here we are once more at the Le Castellet circuit for another round of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. Renault took their first French Grand Prix win all the way back in the inaugural race in 1906, but it was another 73 years before they could take their second. So they'll be pushing hard to delight the local fans here today. 6 lefts and 9 rights give us a total of 15 corners here at the circuit Paul Ricard, and a lap covers an overall distance of 3.6 miles. Average speeds will be somewhere in the region of 142 miles per hour, and they'll be maxing out on the Mistral straight at around 205 miles per hour. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Mr. Monaco, Kvyat, Pierre Gasly, and Zhou, Ocon, Norris, Sainz, and Alexander Albon, Raikkonen, Stroll, George Russell, and Hamilton, Aitken, Perez, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Nicholas Latifi. King, Matsushita, De Vries, and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Now that we've got some on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Right, well here we are then, ready on the grid for the French Grand Prix, round 8 of the year. And it's going to be dry to wet. I was not expecting that for this race. We've had so many changeable conditions so far this weekend. And just another twist in the French Grand Prix tale here for this race. Yeah, I can't believe we're already halfway through the season. We have got a massive opportunity, though, to take some big points out of Mercedes this weekend. Now, this could be the first time this year that 212 Motorsport leads the Constructors' Championship if all things go well there. And yeah, it's just going to be a case of waiting to see when the rain does arrive in this French Grand Prix. We might have to do medium soft. We might be able to get the mediums all the way to the wet period. Maybe we could use the... Is it worth the gamble using the hards at the start of this Grand Prix? The hards generally work quite well around here. We're going to go for it. We're going to try and get to the wet period no matter where it is on a set of the hard compound tyres. Obviously, if it doesn't arrive, we'll just do hards to mediums in this one. I think this is going to be a good strategy here for us today. Let's dive in then here, ready for the French Grand Prix. We've got Verstappen and Leclerc in front of us on the mediums. Gasly behind on the softs. It's 5 red lights. And it's lights out, and away we go. Charles Leclerc not off to a good start as we head down towards turn 1. They're both out for towers, though, on their softer rubber, rocketing down around the outside in towards the first corner there. We get a big old squeeze from Esteban Ocon there and just completely shoves us off the road. What was that about from Esteban Ocon off the start of this Grand Prix there? We have gone backwards off the start here at Circuit Paul Ricard. There's AI trying to go for moves everywhere. Stroll and Albon side by side with us, and that has been a woeful start to the French Grand Prix there, all the way down to P11 there. We're barely ahead of George Russell in this Grand Prix, as we might actually get jumped by George Russell as we head out onto the Mistral straight here. Not what we needed at the start of this Grand Prix. Is Russell going to be able to go for anything as we head down the Mistral straight here? He's looking for it. Up the inside he goes. It's going to be pretty even on the brakes there. Almost contact between myself and our former teammate there. Albon and Stroll still side by side just in front of us. Stroll makes the move work. But that has been a horrendous start. 8 places lost. But look on the mini-map, the gap that Max Verstappen's got at the front of the field there. He has nailed this start. And he leads as we come towards the end of lap 1 here. Albon and Stroll just a little bit slower than I was expecting through there. Snag the inside wheel. But yeah, we've taken a big old gamble here on the hards. Let's see if we got any idea when the rain's going to arrive.
We think we may see some rain. ETA is about 15 minutes. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
What is that from George Russell in towards the penultimate corner there? Just tried to completely shove me off the road. But team is saying ETA about 15 minutes, so maybe the mediums would have been better to go with. However, that could change. Oh, and then Albon, let's see what you got in that Red Bull here as we head up through turn 10. Or turn... yeah, no, it is turn 10, of course. I'll try and remember the corner names around here. Albon is weak through this corner. Might be able to have a look up the inside, which, yes, we do. Clean little move up the inside there. I think Albon just spotted us at the very last moment, but we are now back up into the points of the French Grand Prix.
Brilliant. Nice move.
Gasly new fast slap there as he's already making huge gains on Max Verstappen here. Danny Kvyat as well up into P3, so Charles Leclerc not having the best start to this Grand Prix down into P4 as well there. So yeah, really not a good day for us so far. We spoke about how we might be able to take the lead in the Constructors. Maybe this is the chance for AlphaTauri to jump to the front. Oh, Lance really slow off the exit of the chicane. Can we try and get a run?
Just over 10 minutes time.
Team is saying rain in 10 minutes. So it is definitely coming in then for the French Grand Prix. Let's just wait and see. What can we do on Lance Stroll? Same move as we did to Albon? No. Oh, just into the back of him there. We won't try and claim that. Did we get any front wing damage from that? Somehow not. So no idea how he managed that there. As Albon, he's just going for dive bombs everywhere. What has happened to the AI on F1 2020? They're psychopaths. Oh, even bigger run on Stroll this time around as we head out of the chicane. No idea why he's struggling so much for grip out there. But we might be able to have a look at the inside in towards turn 10. Side by side, neither of us willing to lift, but we do have the inside for the next corner as well. Surely this is a done deal now. And yes, past Lance Stroll and up into 9th place of the French Grand Prix there. Charles Leclerc really struggling at this early stage there. He's the one causing this train of cars. Next up though, we've got both of the McLarens. Stroll though, not giving up on that move just yet. Try to have a look back at the inside. We did spot him there. And now Albon might be able to get him. Come on then, Carlos. Let's see what you've got in that McLaren here. Still, like I always say, don't see much from McLaren in this series, but are we going to be able to get close enough to go for a lunge? We think about it. Oh, I think that was Ocon and Leclerc side by side just up the road here. Can we try and get a good run off the exit of the corner here on Carlos Sainz further back? I think our teammate has held on to his position for now, but this is just non-stop carnage at the start of the French Grand Prix. How can this track deliver so many good races on the game, but just not the same in real life? Sainz going slowly. Will take that opportunity there. Have a look up the inside. He tries to turn in, but we do make the move work there. Hold firm, hold sensible there. Next up, Lando Norris. Lando struggling out of the final corner here. We should be able to get a good run on the McLaren man as we head back down towards turn 1. Having a look around the outside of Lando Norris in this Grand Prix. He's going to go way too deep on the brakes through turn 1 there. And clean around the outside through turn 2. No! Lando Norris gets the power down as we get caught out over the curbs. But certainly still feeling confident, feeling strong early on. Hopefully we're going to see these tyres sort of come into their own over the next few laps. I think the big question is, when are we going to see Gasly? If he can make it to the wet period, he's basically won this Grand Prix. The AlphaTauri is so quick anyways. You can see the advantage he's got on the mini-map there. If he can't, however, he's in a world of hurt. We've got a big run on Lando, though. Can we have a look up the inside in towards the chicane? Up the inside we go. Very, very late on the brakes while hanging out to dry. And we'll move up into P7. Right, can we get a run on Guan Yu Zhou? The Racing Point, of course, very strong still down the straights with its Mercedes power. Ocon looking for a move on Charles as well there, and I think Ocon might just pull it off this time round. Charles Leclerc tries to keep the nose in, but I don't think has got the momentum off the exit of the corner there, and Esteban Ocon moves up into P4 of the French Grand Prix here. Look at that Guan Yu Zhou having a look past our teammate now as we head down into Sector 3. Can we try and get the move up the inside as well? We've got to be really, really careful. Guan Yu Zhou struggles as well. And that'll be a cheeky double overtake through turn 11. That's what you like to see in the French Grand Prix. They're back up now into P5, almost back to where we started here in Le Castellet. That was a cheeky little move, but it has paid off. It was completely clean, and I'm sure the team and the fans would love that. Gasly, though, into the pits at the end of lap 7, so we couldn't make it work. Let's now wait and see how long it's going to be until it rains. Verstappen then back up into the lead of the French Grand Prix in his mediums. Ocon now without any DRS might be a bit more vulnerable as we head up the first part of the Mistral straight. Look at that, the Red Bull really, really slow. And we go clean around the outside of Esteban Ocon there to the apex. And now up into the podium places. Back now to where we started in the Grand Prix. Team is saying a new strat. They're saying basically no change at all. Purple through Sector 2 as well, but you can just see the track getting greyer and greyer and more ominous. Coming to the end of lap 11. Oh, big kick of oversteer. Final corner. Just had a few laps of a bit of peace and tranquility in this. There as we're now pretty much stage of the Grand Prix. The track, if the rain does arrive, I think the medium runners are really only going to be able to take their tyres 14, 15, if they're lucky. I say that. There is the rain here at the French Grand Prix. We need to hope it doesn't fall too quickly. I think, however, it is meant to get pretty stormy fast here in Le Castellet. Now things get interesting. Oh, so the team already seeing Inters in this Grand Prix. It's already starting to feel a bit slippery and understeery, though. So we might just have to wait and see whether the team are onto something here. Don't think, no one else has pit in just yet in the Grand Prix, but that is a bold call by the team to go straight onto the Inters with no right here. But heading down through Sector 3 doesn't seem too bad an idea at this stage of the day. And that's exactly why. Pirouetting round, I think we did that one season before as well. That's going to lose us a host of time to a couple of other cars there. DRS has been disabled as we're going to come back out pretty in this little train of cars there. We've got no grip on these harder tyres in these sorts of conditions here, and we're going to come back out. Whoa! Right! The chaos like Baku here at the French Grand Prix. We're going to lose out a load of time, a load of places. We're behind Gasly in here. Completely overheating the rear tyres there. Is here Ricard just giving us... We got one of the racing points is opted to stay out for another thing has already come in and is ahead of us in this Grand Prix as well. So not what we see Grand Prix, certainly. Right, second then as we head out of the pit lane. I think my wheel had just uncalibrated itself, but down into P17 of this there as we head back up the pits. This is going to very change to full wet conditions. We have suddenly lost out basically half a lap to the Atom Verstappen that we were at this Grand Prix. And yeah, surely, like I said, it's not going to be long before the full wets are required here in Le Castellet. This has suddenly turned on its head. Oh my god, there's carnage in front of us. 3, maybe even 4. As we head towards the hair, in towards the chicane. So many slow cars in the way. Just all of us so much quicker than these guys. Look at this, 3-1, like NASCAR. As we got Magnussen on the set of dry tyres there. That was what was causing the carnage. Made 4 spots up in the space of 2. This is just chaos here at the French Grand Prix. Get around the outside of Jordan King. Can't this time around. Flags out. I think one of the Williams has pulled over here in this French race from Paul Ricard. No, he seems again, so I reckon he might be set of the drive there. Yep, there we go, into the pits. I think that's Giovinazzi into the inside of Jordan King, completely unsighted there, and fair enough, it was probably a bit late. Put the power down on the exit there, no into the pit lane, so we are back up at 11 this Grand Prix, but I think, yeah, the big win, that George Russell, already down in towards turn 4 there. He's now applying the pressure to Charles. It was looking so good for Pierre Gasly early on in this Grand Prix, was leading away for a few laps here, but at the mini-map, this is one of those weird races where you can't work out how anyone's ended up. I'll be honest, Verstappen Viat's still clear out front. Weird, with someone behind us having issues. Not sure who that is. Is it one else? I think it might be. Is it Albon or is it Ocon? Ocon, we got a safety car, so this could work. One rebunch up. Ocon out of the Grand Prix. I'm genuine in this Grand Prix. Full wets might be worth it. Team are saying, yeah, Team are saying go on wet. So there we go then, that is the strategy we're going to go with. Doesn't seem like many others have been given the talk there. I think it's worth it in this race. The heavy rain isn't meant to be moving anywhere. And it might just be one of those situations that starts to struggle more and more. So we are going to pit in at the end of this lap. Oh, a few guys now in front of us into the pits. I'm starting to wonder where to the pit lane we go. Almost get done for pit lane speed in there. But now we're going to have split strategies in this Grand Prix. Unless, of course, they all pit. You get a lane here. This has just been chaos. If the real French Grand Prix later on today is a treat, you guys would have already seen it and will know how it's gone, but this could be a bad. Come on, let us go, thank you. Is the steering going to stay straight this time? For whatever reason. Out in P13. Also got to remember, this could be a big opportunity to try and take some do pick, because of course they're all stuck behind the safety car at the moment, as we're pretty much at full racing speed as we head around the back of the lap. And look at that, yep, they're all into the pits there. Charles Leclerc, Hamilton, Verstappen, all the big guys in this Grand Prix. They're back into the paint. Going to see any gains for the rest of us here. One of the racing points opting to say again is a bit different as we need Kvyat to try and get on with it. We've now got a Delta again. Gasly's into the pits once more in the Grand Prix for whatever reason. As final corner, I think this is why, so those guys don't lose out much. But heading back out onto the start-finish straight, we're definitely going to make some gains here. Where are we going to re-emerge in this Grand Prix? It's going to be right behind Russell. A Kimi Räikkönen here. We need to not get done for speeding under safety car. As yeah, that now means right up into 9th. Right, safety car is going to be coming in then at the end of this lap, and I think it's Guan Zhou for the very first time. No, sorry, it's Lance Stroll who leads the Grand Prix. His teammate Zhou up in P. So potentially a big race for Racing Point. But what is Lance Stroll going to be able to do? Always a good drop, to be fair, in the mixed conditions we've seen in recent years. Of course, pole position at the Turkish Grand Prix last year. My foot's to the floor. My foot's to the floor. I don't know what the game's doing. It won't let me get close enough. Right, in towards final couple. Is it going to be green flag racing once again? Yes, it's. So we head down in towards the final corner. Russell, much earlier on the brakes than I was expecting. Again, somehow no front damage from that. But as we head out of the final corner, and we have completely unlocked the diff. We have set the brake bias as far forward as it would go, but even as it would go. Let's try and get back into a good rhythm here with less than 10 to go from Paul Ricard. Taking us about a lap, but we have got the tyres back up to temperature and we're feeling confident once again. As we head back down towards turn though, we need to try and outfinish Russell here as we just cannot see most of them, to be honest, around this track. Guessing our way around Le Castellet. Stroll though lead. I think what's happened is Stroll stayed out on the inters, or he'd already pit onto the full wets. But either or, it is looking like a brilliant strategy. It doesn't look to be under much pressure from Verstappen behind. I said earlier on this year, Spain was quite probably the toughest race we've ever had on F1 2020. But this one, I think, takes the city tell where the track goes around Paul Ricard. And as we head out onto the Mistral Straight as well. We've just got no grip, no comp stage of the race, but we need to keep it on the island. We need to keep it in one piece. See what we can do as we head through the chicane once more. We seem to be really good through set 3, able to get a lot to George Russell. Around the bits you can actually overtake on, we struggle a bit. Down through turn 10, definitely not full so far at the moment, and you're just, guessing as to where the curbing is. Right, a little bit closer this time around as we head down into a couple of turns. Can we have a look around the outside of George Russell? We'll get the not a curb on the inside, but we do slot up into P8 then ahead of our title rival. And that was a critical move that we needed to make in this Grand Prix if we wanted the World Championship. Still, Lance Stroll leads the way. Lando Norris definitely doesn't have as good a car down the straights as George Russell, so we might be able to get a little bit closer to the McLaren. Up the side, no, definitely not the move happening there this time round. Spotted that and was back out of it in time. Just having to sort of guess where to break into the corners there, but Lando doesn't get the run off the exit of the chicane here. Be a whole lot closer, right under the rear wing of the McLaren there, but just where turn 10 was, and this is the challenge. You just don't know where the track goes at this stage. I can just see Guan Yu Zhou up the road of Hamilton and Leclerc still. Almost tipped it back round. That's going to leave us vulnerable to Russell, who's going to go straight back up the inside. As we head through the final sector of the lap, we get forced out over the curbing, but we do get the power down, and we do get back up and hold on. P8 still. Russell coming back at us. We made a small mistake out of the first sector here. Never thought Russell and I would battle so hard for P8 in a Grand Prix this late on. But Russell does make the move work. Can we get back around the outside though? Through the second part of the chicane. A little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact between myself and the Mercedes man as we force him defensive in towards the next corner here. Swing back to the outside and maybe around the outside through turn 10. No, Russell holds on, finds the grip and does make the move corner. No, we cannot. Having to slot back down into P9 of the Grand Prix here. And now, that I didn't even know where the track was. Anything from that, but the team is saying otherwise. Well, the FIA is saying otherwise. 5 laps to go here, and suddenly we've picked up an instant 3 seconds. 2 laps to go, and now we're stuck in this queue again. Russell and I, after Raikkonen, we're about 3 seconds behind us as well. So hopefully this penalty isn't going to cost us too much in this Grand Prix. There is Kimi, hovering just on some sights down in even further back. We're definitely going to be ahead of him, so at least, unless something goes catastrophic wrong, at least score 1 point in this Grand Prix. But yeah, things not looking perfect at the moment for us. To the final lap then here from Circuit Paul Ricard out of the final. We do get the power down in the end. The gap to Raikkonen still for Russell to get as close to the back of Norris as he possibly, so we can try and get as close to the back of Russell as we possibly in this Grand Prix. But it's been a long time coming for Lance Stroll, but as we head on to the final lap of this Grand Prix, nearly 130 episodes in, he's been with Racing Point Start rather predictably. Today might finally be Lance Stroll's day in the world as we head out onto the Mistral Straight for the final time here. In Season 2 at the Canadian Grand Prix there, Sergio Perez took the team's first and only race victory in this career. And Lance Stroll almost won the race for that at Baku. Unfortunately, poor failure halfway through that Grand Prix. Yeah, he's one big shot at a race win, and he's been consistent on this failure back at Zandvoort a few rounds ago. But as we head corners, French Grand Prix there, it looks like it might fall in Formula 1. See it too often, race winner. We head in towards the final corner. Lance Stroll is going to be second winner. He certainly catches himself championship contender as well through the final corner, down towards the line. Stroll is a full-on race winner, heading through the going to push Russell away to the line for us when all is said and done. What a hard end to such a promising race.
We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Another superb Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved. Tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, they clearly have a car conditions we were dealing with today. It's a very balanced package in the wet, and what that means is attack. And having that confidence gets you on power earlier, it lets you brake later, and can put you a long way up the road.
Placements and final results of excellent driving and excellent work, and a first place finish. Let's have a look then at the trap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race today. Let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for
Today, no doubt fans are extremely proud.
shaping up? Mercedes continue to extend the lead. Meanwhile, Ferrari have a strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. It's a wild weekend of Formula 1 action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Guys, the end of the French Grand Prix, and it's Lance Stroll grid to race there. I said France can deliver some good stuff on F1, and boy, was I right today. 12th to 1st Verstappen again there. I'm still not sure, to be honest, what strategy Stroll did to get him to do so here. He did the same strategy as everyone else. I don't get where he made up all that time through the window. He just doesn't make any 2 laps early onto the inters relative to all of the front. I think he was the first guy in for the wet under the pit stop window there, so really how he managed that one. Kvyat comes through for P3 ahead of Guan Yu Zhou, so a big weekend point there. A fantastic Hamilton 5th ahead of himself, round out your top 10 with Carlos Sainz there just ahead of him, and Ferrari ahead of Antonio Giovinazzi. And what a disappointment. Looked incredibly good weekend there, but not what those. The French boys look so strong there, but 16th in a DNF. Shortington for them as well. Their constructors championship wise, sorry though, we now 15 points back. Leapfrog straight back up into contention there, just 2 points behind the halfway stage of the year there. Gasly and Gat as well, as really Lewis Hamilton, 7 drivers I'd argue, still within a good P8 ahead of Lando Norris there. Ocon down to 10, and then gets jump back on Jack Aitken there. Further down the order, and constructors wise, 11 from Mercedes, 11 points ahead of AlphaTauri at this stage of the year. They're racing a big jump up as well ahead of Red Bull, Ferrari and Renault duking out as getting the worst story of the backline as well. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and yeah, we'll be back very soon. We head back to Formula 1. It's time British Grand Prix. You got it. A big thank you to our channel members for making these videos possible. You can be featured in these end clips as well as granted access to some other exclusive perks for just £1 a month by clicking the join button below.